Today we are going to discuss a speech to text conversion library called speech recognition library in Python. So what does this speech recognition library offers us? The thing it does is it recognizes our speech and converts it to a text. And further we can manipulate this text as ever we want. Like if we want to translate this text and convert into a speech again, we can do that. And we can do many more things with the text given. So enough with the introduction, let's dive into this speech recognition library and explore some methods that are in it. So first things first, we have to install the library. For that, you have to use the following command: pip install speech recognition with capital R. Remember capital R. Pip install speech recognition. Then press enter. And since I already installed, it's showing me requirement already satisfied. For you, it will be installed without any errors. So you can do it. Let's clear the console. And now import this speech recognition library. How to import this? Import speech recognition. You remember when we install, we use the capital R, but when we are importing, we have to place an underscore and then followed by a small recognition. All right, speech recognition. You can't do this like this. Like you install this, right? Install speech recognition, but you can't do this here. You have to use like it here. Okay, import speech recognition as sub. Okay, this is how you import it. And next we have to create an instance of this. Okay. How do I create an instance of this? In the previous video we have seen the pyttsx library. There we have .init method to create an instance of the pyttsx library. Now we are learning about this speech recognition library, so we need a method which can create an instance of this speech recognition library. So there is a method called recognizer in this speech recognition library, which gives us an instance of this library. So let's say sr dot recognizer with capital R. This particular recognizer method will give us an instance of this library. Now let's store this instance of this library in a variable called recognizer. Cool. Now this recognizer contains an instance of this speech recognition library. So we can use whatever methods that are in this speech recognition library using the recognizer variable, recognizer instance object, that is. So now let's see some basic use of this. First things first, we have to hear the voice from the person. So in order to hear the voice from a person, we need a microphone, and my laptop has a microphone. All right. So I have to hear my voice through the microphone that is available on my laptop. Sure. So first things first, we have to hear from the laptop, and in order to do this with sr dot microphone, there is a method called sr dot microphone which lets us hear from the microphone. Cool. Sr dot microphone as source. Okay, we are hearing the particular voice of a person using the microphone. I mean microphone as a source. We are listening the voice of a particular person. Okay, with sr dot microphone as a source to hear the speech or whatever the user says. Let's say after this the microphone is open for taking the speech input. Okay, and after this we will give an acknowledgement that listening. After printing of this we can speak whatever we want, so that the speak goes into microphone and will be recognized by the speech recognition library. Okay, after this, how do we listen from the microphone? That's the main point. For that, there's a method called dot listen, recognizer dot listen. There is a method called dot listen in the recognizer instance to listen the speech that a person is speaking. Okay, the then what does this dot listen method takes as arguments? First things first, it takes a source. From what source you are giving the speech input? Currently I'm talking to the microphone, so it takes the microphone. So what is my source? Let's say source is equal to, what is my source, right? My microphone as source. If I didn't include this line, I could have used the microphone here. Since I included this source, you can just use source here. All right, the source here in a sense means microphone, right? So now whatever the listening happens, it happens from the microphone. Okay, the input is taken from the microphone. Okay, now let's store this audio or the speech in a file or variable. Audio equal to recognizer.listen. Now whatever this recognizer has been listened, it will be stored in this audio variable in any format, like audio format, any format, we don't care. Now let's see. Now we have some particular speech or audio. Now we have to convert that into text format. That's our end goal, right? Speech to text, speech recognition library. We have to convert the particular speech into a text. So how do we do that? Let's say text is equal to the converted speech to text is equal to this, a method called recognizer dot recognize Google. It's not recognize Google Cloud, it's recognize Google. Recognize Google. What do you want to recognize? Like the audio that we just spoken, the speech that we just spoken. Pass this audio into this recognize Google method, and this will recognize the text in this particular audio and assign the text into this text variable. Okay, cool. Alright, after this we'll print whatever we have said, that means the whatever in this text variable. So this is how. Let's save and execute this. Clear this. Python s.py. Hello world. Cool. Here after this print listening at line number 10, the recognizer is listening to our voice, and at this point I have said hello world. So it recognized my voice and stored this hello world speech into this audio variable, and we have passed this audio variable into recognize Google dot method. So this Google recognize Google web API will recognize this voice and transpile this speech into a text and stores in our text variable. And finally we are printing this text variable, that is nothing but hello world. Cool. All right, this is a way to listen from microphone. Now what if we have a speech file which we need to convert into a text? How can we do that? We are taking the speech input live using this microphone, but what if we have a speech file or an audio file that needs to be converted as a text? So for that we have another method, and let's see this too. Comment this thing, and for that we have another method called audio file, sr dot, not studio file, audio file, sr dot audio file, and this takes the path to your audio file. Like let's say some slash audios slash xyz dot mp3, something like this. So xyz as source. Our source will be this audio file. Right now our source will be this audio file. That means we listen from this audio file. Previously we have taken our source as microphone. That means we have listened through microphone, and now we are listening through this audio file called xyz.mp3, which is located in audios folder. So after this everything is same, but this is little bit difference. All you have to do is, instead of recognizer dot listen, we have to do recognizer dot record. Recognizer dot record. All right, and the source. where you are recording this from. All right, source is equal to source. Okay, cool. It does make some common sense, right? Since we are listening this, we'll use the listen method. And now since we are recording this from a particular xyd.mp3 file, we'll use the record method. Nice, good. So right now I don't have a file called xyd.mp3. You can try this method if you want to. So let's just comment this. So this is how you can hear from a microphone, and this is how you can record or hear from a existing audio file. Cool. Now obviously this whatever recognize Google method is there. It is an web API provided by Google to recognize speech and convert into a text. Cool. So this, since it is a API, application program interface or whatever it consumes the internet that is on our machine. So it is online, it requires some internet. So what do we do if we don't have an internet? Don't worry, we have an method in this speech recognizer module or library which works offline. But remember that offline method which is there, it is not as efficient and accurate as this recognize Google method. It's similar to this. Instead of recognizer Google, you can just do recognizer Sphinx. Alright, but before doing this recognizer things, you need to install an additional library called PocketFinks. PHINX. PocketFinks. PocketFinks is a dependency for using this recognized Sphinx model, which works offline. You don't need internet to transpile your audio into your text. Cool. Since this is not so accurate, we don't use. We'll depend on this recognized Google link, which requires online. So we don't use this much. It's not so accurate. And there are also some other methods other than this recognize Google, as you can see here. Recognize a dot. Recognize. You can see here there are vast number of methods like recognize things, recognize Amazon, recognize assembly AI, recognize Azure, Bing, Google Cloud, Honify, IBM, blah 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 blah, whatever it is. There are various things, but I prefer recognize Google out of them since it is so accurate and efficient. So now let's see some other basic methods which are useful in these things. While we are listening from a microphone, there is a chance we may get some background noise, right? So we may get background noise while listening from the microphone. So what we need to do is we have to distinct between this background noise and our human voice, whichever we are speaking. We need to distinguish this. We need to separate this. We need to classify this. So in order to do this, we have a method called recognize dot adjust for ambient noise. That means for background noise which is coming from the source, and listen this ambient noise for 1 second. To differentiate the voice from this background noise, listen for 1 second from the source, that is. Okay, so after doing this, the background noise will be differentiated from the human voice. Cool. This is where the differentiation will happen. Cool. So this is how we adjust for background voice if there is any, and after this we'll listen it. And after this, we'll see some exception which may occur while listening the voices. So up until here, we have opened our microphone as a source and we have listened the audio file. And up until this point, we don't need internet to do this. But whenever we do this recognize Google method, we need internet. So there may be some exceptions, like our internet may be cut off, the web API may be not working, like plenty of reasons. So from being saved by this, we can use some exceptions or pre-checks. Exceptions. We can do some exception handling while doing this. And comment this, we'll try to convert our given given audio to a text. We'll try to recognize the particular audio using recognize Google and transpile it to text. If this doesn't work, we have to use the exceptions or have it using the brackets. So we have to handle the exception using try except block. Using there are some exceptions in this speech recognition library. While we while we try to transpile this speech to text, we may expect some exceptions such as unknown value error or request error. So SR dot unknown value error, it's a kind of exception that may occur during our speech translation to text. So we'll handle this exception by print could not understand our audio. Understand audio. If the audio is not recognizable, like if there's a background noise totally without any voice, it gives an unknown value error since there's nothing to recognize. There's no speech to recognize except the background noise. So in this case, we'll handle this by displaying the message could not understand the audio. And there's also another exceptions may occur in the case of request error. Like the request is not being sent or not being processed by the API that we are sending the request to, since it has too much load to handle. So SR dot request error. This is another kind of this is another kind of exception which may occur during the transpilation. Print could not request results. Could not process request. This so you can handle the request error method. And in fact, you can get the error message that is sent from the server, like sr.request error as A. I'm storing the error in this A, and now I have to display the message that has been sent by the server. In order to display that, we can just use, let me give some space here, E dot the error which has been returned by the server is being stored in the E variable. So we can just display it. Could not process request, the error which has been given by the server. So this is how you handle exception while you are transpiling your audio into a text. So this is how this speech recognition library works. While installing, you will use capital R speech recognition without underscore, and while importing, you'll use underscore smaller. Remember this one thing, many people confuse at this point, and we are importing this as SR. And first things first, we have to create an instance of this, and we have created an instance and stored it in a variable called recognizer. And then I have to listen for whatever the speech that is being spoken by the person. So in order to take input from the person, I am using the microphone as a source, and before listening to the person, I am differentiating the human voice from the background noise, checking if there is any background noise. Using the adjust for ambient noise, we have listening this background noise or anything from the source for duration of 1 second. We'll differentiate this voice from the background noise in a duration of 1 second. After this, we'll display a message to the user saying that I am ready to listen, so you can speak now. And after that, we can use that recognizer dot listen, which is source in it as the source as microphone. We can listen from the microphone as source, and whatever the speech that has been spoken by the person will be stored in this audio variable. And next, we'll try to transpile this audio into a text using the recognize Google method and store it in a text variable, and then we process this text or whatever we want. We can do this with text. And there are some exceptions which may occur while transpilation, like sr dot unknown value error, like if there's a background noise, we don't know how to transpile it, and request error from server. And there is a method to transpile the audio to a text from an existing audio file using the sr.audio file method and the path to your audio file. And here we have to use record instead of listen. And we have so many methods like recognize Google. We have so many other methods, but the best one of them is recognize Google. And we have an offline thing which works offline too, called PocketFinks or recognize Finks. For this, we need to install PocketFinks as a dependency, but this is not so accurate, so we'll use Google itself. All right. So this is it for today, guys. This is how you recognize the speech from your person and transfer it to your text. So that's it for today, guys. If you like this video, if you understand the content that I have said in this video, you can like, share, subscribe, and comment. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you.